welcome to Stone Astrology. This is your astrology porthole in connection with crystals, herbalism, lunar cycles, and old magic. We explore the ancient lunar arts and natural medicine and modern ways to support the health of your body, mind, and spirit. Today, I'm going to be looking at this upcoming moon cycle. Even though it's 3 days into the moon cycle, just looking at the themes, and also especially when working with manifesting and growth, which whether it's within your relationships or whether in your businesses, this new lunar cycle has that theme available for us. This moment in time, as in this today, 2 days after, is going to be a really great time, especially with the moon now in Gemini, by writing down your intentions, planting those seeds through the words that you write. And I'll also get into what this lunar cycle looks like within its themes for the lunar cycle and things that you can begin to start putting into motion at the start of our next 28 days. Okay, so let's get into this new moon cycle. I've got myself here a nice rosemary tea. And remember that so many of the yummy teas that you buy in the supermarket, often you can actually just grow those herbs outside, just on a sunny part of your balcony, or if you have an allotment or a garden, just even a sunny space on a windowsill, you can grow your own amazing medicinal herbs. So rosemary, I love rosemary tea. I like mine strong. Just be careful, it is a very strong antibacterial, so always just start just with a little bit. And because we are receiving the benefits from the aerial part of the plant, the leaves, you want to just pour boiling water over it. Don't boil it up, just pour the water over, and you'll receive all of that yummy green goodness. And so with rosemary is actually a really great cleansing tonic. It's got antibacterial properties. It's great for flushing out any toxins. It can be an internal anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. And when you're breathing essential oil, rosemary essential oil is amazing for the brain. It's amazing helps support cognitive functions. Breathing rosemary is also very energizing, very vitalizing. A lot of the herbaceous oils give us that sense of vitality and aliveness. So that's a little herb tip for this moon cycle. Really planting any intentions in your plants, just anywhere between a couple of days after the new moon, from the 19th all the way up to through the first week, even all the way up to the full moon. This first half of the moon is about growing our intentions. So that's going to be a very potent time to do that in the first week of the full moon. So whenever you're finding this, you can also apply this to any moon cycle. In particular, we have this moon cycle in the last few degrees of Sidereal Taurus, conjunct Juno. So there's a really powerful little infusion with magic with Juno there, who is the modern day asteroid or goddess of moon magic, moon cycles, very much connected with, well, sexuality, really enhancing the moons. The moon has a really powerful quality, not only through this conjunction here with Juno, but also the fact that it's in the last few degrees of Taurus and it's exalted in Taurus. So we know that when the new moon comes, there's no light in the sky, it's a fertile ground. Traditionally in old magic, we don't do magic when the moon is combust the sun. But traditionally, we just wait a couple of days after until the light is beginning to show. And we can, just by observing the moon, we can observe that that's when the light is beginning to grow. It's also when the moon is said to have more moisture than heat, as the heat begins to grow. And what do we need when we plant seeds in the earth? We need moisture. The seeds need moisture to grow. So whether you're doing this in a ritualistic way by placing your intention into a crystal, planting it in your herbs or your flowers, whether you actually want to plant a new seed, this would be a really good time to do that. You want to plant your favorite your favorite herb, or some sort of a chili plant, or if you want to plant a flower, maybe that flower has some sort of a significance for you. You know, especially Venus rules flowers. Maybe you want to grow more beauty and bring more harmony into your life. Juno does that. And there's some amazing writings by Demetra George on Juno and how Juno brings beauty, brings harmony, brings love into relationships. So this will be a really beautiful new moon to place intentions around bringing harmony, beauty, and love into your relationships. You know, this could be any relationships depending on what house it's showing up in. This could be within your romantic relationship, within your friendships, within your family, within your business relationships. So today, and so a couple of days after, we're actually moving into Gemini. So with the moon in Gemini, loves to write. So what we're looking at here, we know, is the moon photograph of the upcoming next 28 days. And with the moon in Gemini, in this first waxing present, it's going to be a really potent time to write your intentions, to write what you want to bring into your relationship, and to write what you want to let go of in your relationship. We've got a really supportive, trine here with the South Node in Libra. And not only is it in Libra, but it's in Libra 3 degrees, which means that it is nearly at its 18-month cycle through its journey in the nodes journey through the relationship axis of Aries and Libra. It actually moves out of the Aries Libra axis into the Virgo Pisces axis around the 20th of July, I believe. And it's around the 22nd is when Venus goes retrograde. So from now, for the next month, there is this last, almost like this final push of everything that you've learned over the last 18 months in your relationships. This will be unique to everyone. There might be a type of relationship in your life that you've really been learning through, be it your marriage, be it your open relationship, be it your friendships, business, whatever it is. I mean, we're human, we all have relationships. So that might be showing up as a challenge through understanding yourself in connection with the other, understanding the other in connection with yourself, and allowing and having had lots of experiences bringing in situations, bringing in Judith Hill talks a lot about the nodes and the head of the dragon, the tail of the dragon. Things come in on the north node, they go out on the south, especially with Jupiter there. It's moved past now. We've still got a 4-degree orb, this moon cycle, as it begins to separate. But just in general, and as of lately, we've had a lot of situations or experiences coming in for self-growth. Growth represented by Jupiter, self and identity represented by Aries. But to really receive the benefits of that, something has to go out. So there will have been some sort of a learning, I believe, and it'll be interesting to see how this shows up for people. But it's almost as if, especially with those last 2 eclipse seasons that we had, they were both on the relationship axis, and then finally tying up this 18-month journey with Jupiter there on the North Node, almost like bringing in growth, bringing in fortune, but also potentially bringing in experiences to expand the self, to expand the relationship, to grow something. And this could also be you as an entrepreneur or you as a leader, wherever, if Aries is prominent in your chart. It could just show up in so many different ways. So just take these words and apply it to your life as you see fit. But there, especially within the last moon cycle, we had this grand cross with both the relationship planets going opposite Pluto. So the last new moon cycle we had is also like all of these opportunities coming in for self-growth, but yet there was an obstacle to get through on the axis between the home and work. coming up from beneath the surface and letting go, you know, Pluto ruling the underworld and that what lies beneath, you know, really breaking through any barriers of resistance, of limitations. It's very Capricorn, and allowing what's underneath to actually come through, to resurface, almost like the crystals popping out of the earth. You know, there's something beautiful underneath there. We just need to work for it. And so within the relationship axis, we have the nodes, and then we have the relationship planets of Mars coming along, potentially causing some sort of a conflict or a challenge, and then Venus coming along, testing our values. And both of them can. So with that in mind, just, you know, coming back to this moon cycle, all of that growth that was available, but that came with challenges. We are now here at this point where there's probably a lot of clarity for all of us in some degree. Whether this is showing up in your work life, whether this is showing up in your friendships, whether this is showing up in your personal relationships. This new moon is the opportunity now to find love for all of that, to find a type of healing, a type of release, and actually really allow the emotions to purge themselves and to let their emotions be released through the South Node. You know, Frank Clifford talks about this, awesome teacher of mine, and he talks about how you can utilize your square also by using the trine as an outlet. So with this moon cycle, we have Neptune here squaring the sun and the moon conjunct. There may be themes around illusions, perfectionism, you know, someone who's working with addictions. This may come up for them. But especially within Aries or within Aquarius, on the Aquarius Pisces cusp, definitely strong there. It would actually be an interesting moon cycle for those that are intrigued or curious or drawn to dream work, to actually use the dream world as a way of having a type of somatic release or an unconscious release or an unconscious cleansing or reprogramming, working with your obsidian, either coming up to the full moon for 2 weeks, or a good ritual would also be to work with it as of the full moon. You know, obsidian's very connected with Pluto, it's connected with Scorpio, and it has also this ability to clear and transmute and bring up the shadows of the unconscious. So working with it on the full moon, which I believe is on the 3rd of July, working with the full moon in Scorpio, especially when the moon is full, it wants to reveal something. So there it's whatever you've been learning through this journey or evolution of the soul, this moon cycle, whatever intentions you've been placing. The full moon is when we often see the results of that, or there's some type of an action. And in this case, a revealing, an illumination, but one that is actually revealing the shadows, revealing the truth. Scorpio is very connected with truth. And so working with your obsidian from the full moon until for the rest of the waning moon cycle for the next 2 weeks, from the 3rd of July until the next new moon, those 2 weeks would be a very powerful time, especially as it's a time for letting go, to actually do some deeper energetic or subconscious cleansing or clearing and working through the dream world. You might find that working with your dreams leading up to the full moon, where you're actually asking questions, noting down what's coming and just seeing what comes as a message. Remember, when you're working with dreams, don't look for the message. If you get a vision through your dreams, you'll know it. It won't be something that you try and piece together. It'll be something that you will know has come as a message, or has come as something for you to explore through its metaphors, through its archetypes. You know, whether you believe in the work of Jung and Carl Jung, that everyone in the dream is you and they were giving you some sort of a message. I actually find that a useful technique, working with the mind on a Mashika calendar. Often I find that people appear in my dreams who I know what their energy is, and they give me information in that way. But often I do believe that sometimes the players showing up in the dream are just that, and really it's for each person to uncover the imagery and the story and the hidden message that is being shown, because the dream world is all smokes and mirrors. And so that's where Neptune is very, very powerful, especially with it being the only hard aspect really on the moon, this moon cycle. So for one, work with Labradorite. If you're someone who can naturally get confused, this would be something to work with this moon cycle, and if you get confused, it's in connection with a particular relationship, use that outlet here. Where does the South Node show up in your chart? If it's in one of the water houses, maybe your outlet for the moon is to go swimming or to take a nice salt shower. If it's in the fire houses, maybe go and do some nice sport to sweat things out. But moon, doing things that connect with releasing the emotions in some way. If it's in an air house, doing some breath work or some yoga or some deep breathing and meditation. If it's in an earth house, going out and do some earthing, some grounding, some gardening, getting your hands in the soil. And so those types of emotional purging and letting go through the trine of the South Node is a way to bring balance and to release any high emotional or confusing or illusionary energy, just bringing yourself into the present, bringing yourself back into the stability of the earth. And also remember, check where your natal moon is, your purging might be tears, might be crying, and honoring that just as the sky needs to rain, we need to cry sometimes. So if your natal moon already has very psychic placement or sensitive placement in the water signs, just being aware here to really stay fully grounded. This actually might be a great moon cycle for you because it actually supports your grounding to the earth. Just having that in mind, if you are finding there are themes around illusion or confusion, Labradorite is a great meditation stone for this moon cycle. Obsidian to do deep cleaning work. If you find the obsidian is too intense, just use it for a week. And just definitely use it below the belly button. So making sure you're sleeping with it below the belly button. If you feel like you've had a very strong release with obsidian and you wanted to bring some softness, you can use amber afterwards, which is an analgesic. It releases an acid when it's warmed up on the skin, and amber is an amazing amber stones in Mexico. And that warm glow, it's also an amorphous. They're both amorphous stones, which means they have this ability to transmute. But amber's like honey, you can see it, you can feel it. And so it's a really amazing analgesic for the heart. So here on the 19th of June, we're now started in the cycle 2 days in, and the moon is in Gemini. The next 2 days are going to be a great time to write the manifestations down. You can place a citrine on the top, place it by your altar. Definitely, if you're working with wealth or money or business abundance, citrine. If you're growing love and want to create movement and bring in harmony into your relationship, rose quartz. If you're manifesting clarity or releasing confusions, amethyst is a great crystal for that. And quartz crystals are oxides or silicates, modern day silicates, but they transform. So citrine, rose quartz, and amethyst are all part of the oxides mineral class, or silicates mineral class, connected with the alchemy power of the sun, the alchemy power of Mars, and that ability to create movement. Just like oxygen, we need oxygen to be able to breathe, to be able to live, to be able to move. And so the oxides are one of the biggest mineral classes, and your quartz crystals are high frequency. So they really are amazing manifestation stones. And then you can just apply your color key to the area of your life. And they're just amazing to place your intentions in because they hold that intention. You know, we wouldn't have computers without quartz, we wouldn't have technology. It's because quartz crystals, particularly clear quartz, amplify things. So clear quartz would be a great crystal to place on any manifestation that you want to bring through, and particularly at this time of the moon cycle. For any foodies out there or anyone working with things around food, diet, body image, you know, when the moon goes full in Scorpio, this can also be a really amazing time to detox, but also to reveal any fears or to reveal any shadows or obsessive thinking or toxic thoughts around your body image. And the body very much ruled by Taurus. So for those that may work with these themes, whether it's something you struggle with or whether you want to just give yourself a nice 28-day journey through detox, this would be a really good moon cycle to start that. So we know Taurus rules dairy, rich foods. Maybe that's something that you've been wanting to cut out of your diet. There's an enzyme in dairy called biosine that actually over time can begin to degenerate tissue. So, you know, I mean, take it or leave it. For some people, dairy might be really good for their body, for their bone growth. You know, we know that dairy has calcium, but I almost feel that that's almost a thing that was used by consumers well to get us to buy lots of milk, when actually it's not very natural. I mean, this is all preference, you know, I'm just giving my opinion, but dairy is something, if you've been wanting to cut that out, I mean, we know that dairy is full of fats as well, so it's not going to do any harm for your body, put it that way, to go on a dairy-free diet for 28 days. And you might want to include that with a nice juice detox, remembering to get your electrolytes, or drinking coconut water, or getting different mineral supplements that you can support that. You know, if you're new to detoxing, don't just go straight in, jump in, go and do some research on a 3-day juice detox, how to come out of it. So yeah, that's just sharing that piece of information for those that feel confident to go and research and to do that little juice fast. But if you wanted to do that, this would be a great moon cycle to do it on the food front. And just working with intentions around body image, working with intentions around self-love, and just allowing that build up of being able to cleanse the body, that full moon, reaching that full cleanse, and then actually coming out the other side, and just see how the body feels with no dairy for 28 days. Maybe you have a food journal, maybe you want to write about it. Definitely get your calcium-rich foods through oranges, through thick leafy greens. And, you know, if that's something that interests you, definitely go and do your research. There's lots of nutritionists that you can Google and go and check that out. Kira Sutherland is also a great health astrologer who works specifically with nutrition and astrology. So lots of information for those that are interested. And make it something sensual. You know, Taurus is all about the senses. So if you're making a nice herbal tea, really allow that herbal tea to move through the body. You could even just say a ritual and bless your water. We know that water takes on the structure. Water frozen is a crystal. So waters really take on the words, and we can actually feed our bodies with that intention. You know, whether you're making different body oils you want to use, and just allowing those body oils to take your intention into the skin, which is our largest organ. You can really get sensual about it, breathing essential oils or flower oils or wood oils, very Taurian, for grounding to the earth, or, you know, ruled by Venus, opening up with flower oils, expanding the heart, and just lifting the emotions, you know, giving yourself something to work with as part of a sensual journey for the next 28 days, and really focusing on what you're putting into your body in terms of nutrition, in terms of your diet, what works for you, what doesn't. You know, there's so much out there on all of this. There's I think is a book. It talks about what's your blood type, you know, depending on what blood type you are, different diets. So there's all these sorts of things to explore, but ultimately your body will know what it needs, and your body probably knows what it doesn't need. I mean, if you're someone that flares up with dairy or gets bad skin, I know if I have dairy, I get terrible skin. Too much sugar, terrible skin. And Saturn, which rules the skin, is quincunx my Mars in the 10th house, which is Saturn's house, if you like, in health astrology. So yeah, there's and in Taurus. So there definitely comes an inflammation with me with dairy and sugar. So just something to reflect on and see, yeah, what works for you, and write it down. I would love to see if anyone commits to it for 28 days. Write down what you know, how you feel, what you know, journal this moon cycle. I really encourage people to do that, and just to see how you flow with the moon days. I think that's all I have for you today. This is just a short moon update in connection with this new moon cycle, and this particular day in connection with the moon in Gemini. Definitely utilize this moment to write down your dreams, desires, wishes, honoring the goddess of the moon cycles, and bringing through this harmony and peace and love and healing into the relationships, really utilizing that south node. Some nice tonics to work with, definitely, you know, especially over the next 2 days, if you're feeling this moon, you know, triggering your nervous system. Some lavender teas or chamomile would be good herbal tonics to work with. Definitely during the last, from the full moon through the final 2 weeks, any cleansing herbs. Lemongrass is a great detoxifying tea. Rosemary and basil, if you definitely want to dive into the dream work. Explorations. Remember, don't overdo it. If you're new to working with that herb, just make a gentle tea. Start with, you know, a few leaves to begin with, and just see how the herb reacts with you, because herbs can react to everyone differently. But lavender and basil would be definitely my mugwort as well. But just for what I'm recommending on this channel right now, the basil and lavender for dream work this moon cycle. So I hope that you have a beautiful first few weeks of the moon, have amazing revelations. I hope that you enjoy working with the themes that the moon's gifting us. And yeah, just sending you many blessings for this upcoming and this ride that we're already in through the next 28 days. Please like and subscribe my channel. I will be continuing with the lunar cycles. I'll definitely be throwing in some little extra videos on herbs and crystals, on moon magic. So please feel free to write down anything you're interested in, or anything you'd like more of, or anything you enjoy listening to about the channel, just so I can get some feedback, because I really want to grow this porthole and share my passion for the sidereal calculator in Western astrology in connection with natural medicine. Hope that you have a beautiful week and beautiful moon cycle. Bye-bye.